Wow, that's a big question, like existentially or like just in the author space. Okay, sure. Elevator pitch, every author's favorite thing, right? Hi, my name is Kate. I am a author. I'm a romance author, and I'm currently specifically a K-pop romance author of this series right here. I enjoy coffee to an almost criminal amount. That's a good-looking book. I don't know where you got that, but congratulations. That's excellent. And and yeah, I guess that's it. I'm not really that interesting, so that was having a handle on it. Wow, the bar is low.
and all that. Like, you'll love it. It's great. And I was like, how cool would it be if I just reached out for your wife and was like, hey, come join us on the podcast? Deja was like, what's the worst she could say? I said, no. That's the worst she could say. No. That's the worst. It is absolutely no.
I mean, I mean that is, I guess, I've only ever done a couple, but like I've yet to do a boring one, and I feel like today is not going to be that day. So
Well, we're really really glad to have you. I mean, we talk to a lot of different authors from various different backgrounds and things like that. I know we've had a few authors from like the UK and things like that, and so
Mm-hmm.
making time for us. I know the time difference is a huge hurdle to get over, so
for
we
sure.
really do appreciate you coming on and trying to make it work and make things,
Yeah.
seem at least streamlined
Yeah,
for
for
us.
sure, for sure. So we kind of generally just get started with this question. How did you get started in writing? Like, what made you want to write this story?
um yeah, that one is like, it's kind of a boring answer. I'll be like really honest with you. I started writing this story in the summer of 2024, just before I was laid off my corporate job, and
Okay.
it's I don't. I feel like every author will have a different answer to this kind of question. Literally, the story just came to me one day. It was just there. It was born out of the idea with K-pop idols and the restrictions that they live under, right?
Mhm.
That typically speaking, it is expected, especially of male K-pop idols, not to date, or at least not to publicly date, because part of the idea of being a K-pop idol or K-pop performer generally is the sex appeal of it, right? The idea that they be available to the public fantasy. So with that idea, the story just went, and that was kind of it. And I know that's a really unsatisfactory answer, but when I think you have that kind of a breadcrumb, it's, especially as an author, it's then kind of really easy to build on it and to have a completed love story, because the bones
Yeah.
of that kind of story it is forbidden romance, right? It's like a tale as old as
Mhm.
time. It's basically like its own little Cinderella story when you add in the elements of him being super famous and super rich and stuff. So I just started writing, I think in like May of that year. Yeah, May. It would have been about May, and then it was published in December. So yeah, kind of
Sheesh.
kind of like a runaway train, I guess.
Fast.
Yeah, that
Fast.
is a whirlwind production time. I mean, you're talking
Yeah. Yeah.
from first draft to finalized in that amount of time. That's insane. It took me 3 years alone to get Origins out. So I'm vastly impressed by that.
Hand claps for you, honestly. That's awesome. Like,
Someone actually did the maths on this. Apparently, I release a book every 7 months. I didn't know that, but apparently I do. So someone worked that out for me, which was very good of them.
can you please teach me your ways?
Every 7 months. That's
Teach me your ways.
What does the process for releasing a book at that kind of pace look like? I know that there's like the editing process and things like that. So how long does it take for you to get through the rough draft of writing something then?
Yeah, I before I finished A World Apart, I've been writing pretty much my entire life because I've always been, you know, the aspiring author. That's kind of been my personality for like the past 30 odd years, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never completed a book. So the deadline, I set the pre-order up and I said, look, I've just lost my job. I'm going to do this. I've got no other time in the world. I threw my severance pay packet at the editor and all this sort of stuff. So I made my life really difficult in that respect. So I think I kind of gave myself a trial by fire. So now this about draft one for me takes takes about 6 weeks to go through one of my drafts. Mm-hmm. And then I have beta readers and sensitivity readers. And I normally ask if they some sort of feedback 6 to 8 weeks, more or less. So the writing part is probably the quickest part. I can adjust stuff once my editor's given it back to me, and I can adjust the bigger points that my beta readers have given back to me. But I'll at the same point be going through it from a developmental point of view. So I guess I kind of accidentally do everything at the same time. I'm not sure that's how you're supposed to do it, but it's kind of how it works for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Did that answer your question, or did I just spin off on a tangent? Because I will do that. Sorry.
That's perfect. We're trying to get an idea into the process because I think a lot of people get really intimidated by the idea of putting books out there. They think that there is a set way of doing stuff.
Oh, hands down.
And we've learned very quickly that there is no one way to get stuff published. There's no way to get stuff out. And so to hear it from a different perspective, because like I said, it took me 3 years to put out my first book. But after that, the turnaround time does get quicker. You get faster at writing stuff. You get better. But I think it's good for people to hear that there are different ways of putting that stuff out. And even if you're not putting something out every 7 months, you're still doing good stuff. Yeah. You're still doing great work.
Oh, hands down.
Clearly, your production time helps a lot because you've gained quite the following off of this is your first series, right?
Yeah. A World Apart was my first published novel, yeah.
Yeah.
K-pop fans are insane. And I say that as a K-pop fan.
Let's specify.
I say that as a stay-teeny, okay? We're insane.
I'd say enthusiastic.
We're very enthusiastic and passionate about everything. Everything. So I have to ask you, just for Daniel's like, this is so awkward. What caught me was when Emily just shared one of your Instagram posts about your dedication. How many fandoms are you a part of currently?
That's quite a difficult question to ask, or rather answer, because like I feel like had you asked me that question when I first published the book, I would say those ones on the page, primarily speaking. But having done like all the deep dives into K-pop in the past like couple of years, I would say I'm just really genuinely a multi-stan. I mean, I have my alt groups. Right. My alt groups are BTS, 80s, Stray Kids, Blackpink. I was about to say Blink-182. Also Blink-182, but not specifically for this. Yeah. I have maybe 5 or 6 that I'm like, yeah, thank you, right? I mean, that's a whole other tangent. I mean, we can go down like a Sum 41 route. We can do Linkin Park. We're not gonna, but we could. Like 5 easily answered, but multi-stan generally because I'm such a fan of K-pop as a production, as an art form. I'm so enthusiastic about it as the production of it. So 5. Let's go with 5 as the easy answer.
I feel like so.
6 or 7.
I'm three firm right now. BTS, ATs, and Skiz. It started with Skiz. I got Felix, a hardcore. Daniel's like, I'm gonna have no idea what's happening.
These words don't mean anything to me, but I'm happy to be a part of the conversation.
But as I read A World Apart, I literally, like, there were so many times where I stopped and was like, Oh my gosh, this is every fan's dream/nightmare to be perceived by the most famous hot guy you've ever seen in your life. And it has stemmed all these conversations of like, don't, with my friends, where I'm like, if something happens and I run into these guys in real life, do not see me. Like, do not perceive me. I do not exist. How were you
Mhm.
able to kind of capture that feeling of um like she looks at Jihoon and just is smitten, like, and it's not starstruck. She is smitten, like it's instant, feels almost like instant love essentially, but like they're meant to be together. How were you able to capture that so well?
Um, I think from two angles. I think if you've ever had a crush on a famous person or someone you weren't supposed to, but let's say a
Mm-hmm.
famous person for instance, because I think we were all 13 once, right? For me, it was Darren Hayes. If you know, you know. I think there's that aspect of there is that insta love, but it's like insta infatuation.
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you look at that from more like a more adult lens, you're able to understand that infatuation doesn't mean anything necessarily. It just means that, you know, you're super into them because they're hot or whatever. And I think once you're able to move past that kind of emotional maturity, that kind of understanding, you are then able to see them as the person they are, which is kind of the overarching theme of the book, right? Is that
Mm-hmm.
she's able to recognize, yes, he is who he is, but that isn't necessarily who he is. So
Right.
through that sort of starstruck first encounter that they have, or couple of first encounters, she is then able to do that whole step back and go, okay, well, actually, that's the idol versus this is Jihoon. So for
Mm-hmm.
me to be able to write that, it was more like an exploration of that being the theme, because that I knew I really wanted to nail down into that part. So I guess I was just kind of, yeah, that's what I really tried to dig into, was
Mm-hmm.
how she would approach that, to not be the kind of person who necessarily puts him on a pedestal and, like, you know, the screaming, don't
Right.
perceive me kind of thing.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
And I think the way of approaching that, the way you've approached that, is really really good because it makes your characters seem human. You know, not like they're these gods on pedestals that you can't
Yeah.
ever
mm-hmm.
ascend to be around. They are
Right.
human beings and
Yeah.
they live in a human world, and that's cool to bring that into the forefront.
Oh,
I
a
thought,
thousand percent. Oh, 1,000%.
yeah. When we first heard about you, my wife is absolutely, I don't want to say the word obsessed. She loves your stuff. She's pre-ordered everything you have and has told me not to tell you that. But she she absolutely does love your stuff, and I have never seen her fall in love with the story the way she has fallen in love with your stuff. So you are clearly doing something right with your writing,
Oh,
something very very good.
Oh yeah.
Um, and you're kind of one of those odd TikTok success, Instagram success stories of an author that has really found a decent following out on social media and stuff. I know that there are a lot of us out there that are trying to punch through the numbers and punch
Yep.
through the noise and try to get out there. What has been your strategy for reaching
mm-hmm,
people
mm-hmm.
on social media to try and grow your presence in that space?
Wow. See, this, yeah, I actually really struggle with this because I personally feel like I'm doing a terrible job on social media. I hear what you're saying with regards to like the following and stuff like that. I think it comes from a couple of different things. One, K-pop fans are incredibly passionate, and I think I'm lucky to have been able to dial into that kind of fandom. The majority of people who read my books apparently actually are not K-pop fans, though, which is so interesting to me. I love the idea that romance readers or readers in general see a story for what it is as opposed to what it necessarily contains. I'm obsessed with that idea. So the fact that I have the following that I do, which, yeah, I mean, I love my followers. My followers are wonderful. I love having the interactions, and I think the interactions are the thing that I have. Um, I try and interact with everyone. Yay, reading, and I feel like it's this thing that we can all share together and have. I
Mm-hmm.
think social media, it's, oh God, it's a pain in the backside sometimes, though.
Yep.
Like you feel like you're having a great week, and then suddenly it's like the views are like boom, and they're like, oh yeah. And I'm not sure I really have a good answer to this one. I'd say like, oh yeah, be consistent, don't follow the trends, do the thing 3 times a day, 9 times a day, in Reels and Instagram. And yeah, frankly,
Right.
I
No,
kind
and
of just want to
think
spend all my
that's
time writing.
fair.
I try to interact with everyone on social media.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I think that
Yeah.
talking with
Yeah.
the people that follow you, getting to interact with them is one of the greatest things you can do. All of us just want to sit and talk about our writing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we want people to say, "Hey,
Yeah.
how does this work and how does this function?" and things like that. So I definitely agree with the get to know your fans, get to talk with them, get to enjoy your stuff. I'm very impressed. You are a very down to earth, easy to talk to person, and I think that's very hard to come across sometimes online. So that's cool.
I absolutely loved getting updates from my sister-in-law about G Vibes World Tour. I thought that was a brilliant marketing strategy, like brilliant, because it was literally like, hey, did you see that she posted? Like she posted the world tour dates. Like we know G Vibe, and it's one of those things where like it's just as passionate about like, oh, BTS released their tour dates, or oh, Stray Kids released a new Skids code, right? Like but you've captured that in a way where like those of us who are in the culture, in the K-pop sphere, like, oh yeah, I can get on board with this. Like announcing that the new book is releasing on Jihoon's birthday. Like that's huge. So like it's cool to watch you market and like essentially learn from you in that of like make it important, make it a vibe so that the readers vibe with it.
Yeah.
So it's been cool to watch you. I think you're better at marketing than you give yourself credit for.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it just really helps that I'm like you said, like dialing into that vibe. I am absolutely there. Like ever since BTS released Adidang, for instance, I've been like feral. So I feel like it's quite easy for me to dial into that feral vibe. So if I'm achieving anything close to that with my marketing, then someone pat me on the back. I'm not sure that I'm quite there. However, I feel like I understand that mentality. So I feel like for me, that's the fun part about marketing, that kind of part of my book, because I do really want to share. Like, I'm so excited to share, like, I can't because I'll spoil stuff, but like, see, this is the part that excites me, because like, I can't wait to tell people about certain stuff. And like, it's been like, one thing that I really do love about social media marketing and all the stuff is that, as with Skiz and as with BTS, nothing is ever accidental. Like I love breadcrumbing. If you read the rest of my book, you'll notice I do callbacks for a lot of stuff. Like I'm constantly referencing things that I've done, or tying stuff in. Like I love it. I feel like it's so much fun, and I could like cute aggression. Like I love it. I love it. And I do that with my marketing like a lot. Like a lot of people have sort of now noticed that I've used a specific constellation in a lot of my marketing, and that they maybe haven't noticed that I've been doing stuff since book 1. Like, no, I can't because I'll spoil stuff. But like, it's really, really exciting for me.
I'm not gonna complain if you spoil anything. Okay.
And you have people in the comment section already going, "Please spoil this for us." So
spoils from mother. Spoils from mother.
I'll say one thing. So Kaya. Well, you might not remember, but Kaya is born in February, right? And you remember the name of the building that she worked in, the studio that she worked in. So this part is so much, and this was actually quoted in book 1, is that she was born in February, but the company she works for is called Pisces. And she's a Pisces. Yeah. She works at Pisces. And the symbol of Pisces, I'm not going to say anything after this point. The symbol of Pisces is obviously a fish. So if you've watched some of my recent marketing with regards to constellations and stuff, no, that's it. I'm not saying anything else because I have a horrible habit of spoiling my stuff. So
oh my god,
that's all I'm saying. I got
You
really
can't!
excited writing this. We ran around screaming about it, so it's so much fun.
No, it's hard, isn't it, not to gush over the stuff you wrote, and you're like, okay, I don't want to pretend like I'm brilliant, but this is brilliant. This is great.
It's stuff like this that makes me think I'm smarter than I am, though. It's like I put on a big gab about it, but there was this thing I when I was writing recently, I only just recently discovered that I'd accidentally tied something in that was like constellation wise, and I didn't realize, and I was like, oh my god, I'm a genius. No, it was a complete accident, but I loved it and I'm going to use it, so whatever. It was a lot of fun.
Love when accidental foreshadowing occurs and you're like, oh, maybe I am good.
100%, yeah.
Hey, I set myself up
exactly. Exactly. That was the spirit.
That's amazing. You're 3 books deep into this series, right? And the 4th one is coming out.
Yes.
I do not have the date off the top of my head. My wife has told me so many times and I don't remember what it is. But you've got a 4th one already coming out. How long do you think the series is going to go?
Oh, that one I can tell you straight off the bat. The 4th one is out on Halloween, October the 31st, which has some people will know from the series that it has significance to the couple. Sorry, I was just taking off my socks because it is hella hot and I feel really comfortable with you two. So I feel like
you're fine.
The series is going to be 4 books long. So there's going to be 4 books in the main series.
There you go. So you are tying it off as of October 31st, and then I'm assuming there'll be branching narratives later on after this. Is that what you're saying? Committing to?
Your wife, I told
you. I'm not saying anything. I'm saying abs. I'm not saying anything. There are 4 books in the series.
She could tell that was bait.
Yes. You were baiting her. You were baiting her for Emily. Was what you were
trying, but failing miserably.
So I think if you haven't caught on yet, Kate, our whole like reason for having you on was to get all of the spoilers for Emily.
Yeah, that was it. That's the whole thing. Agents. Sorry, this isn't actually a podcast. My bad.
Okay, well, give her my email. I'll happily yap with her. That's fine.
So, you said you started writing this in 24? Is this the only thing you've written, or did you write like early on in like your, I don't know how old you are, I'm gonna guess, in your teens, like in high school or whatever, or was it just like, hey, I picked this up because I left my corporate job?
No, a bit of both. The series is the first one I've ever fully finished. All my life I've written, so I have. Whips upon whips upon whips, and most of them I've binned because they're just terrible, right? Because they just are when you're learning what your style is. I actually have 2 further books, I guess series. I think one of them's a duology, but the other one I think might be a series. I'm not 100% sure yet. I have them in the works at the moment. One of them I am publishing chapter by chapter on my Patreon. Okay. And it's going to be the one, I think that one's going to be the duology. Then that's the one that I'm going to work on after I finish publishing the Between Worlds series. So yeah, I have written all my life. I can remember the first thing I wrote, and it was like a Peter Rabbit anthology when I was maybe 4 or 5. I obviously didn't write that. I obviously just like wrote it down from the book, but like I have been writing my entire life. So this is just this I forced myself to finish, because this one I got to about chapter 6 and I was like, I actually think this one might be worth something. Not like monetarily. I mean, like this one, it felt like the one. And I can't really describe it except with those words. It felt like it. It was something about it. So this one I forced myself to finish. The rest of them are probably crap and they're just somewhere in my files, but like, yeah.
I think there are a lot of us out there that are like that. I mean, I've written small stuff for a long time, but never pushed anything out. Sarah has written
whole novel.
Heaps and heaps and heaps of stuff. The Werewolf Shifter book that we always make fun of her for is the first one that I recall.
Leave me alone.
Okay, Werewolf Shifters are awesome. That's everyone's gateway drug into like paranormal romance.
It's like a Twilight. It's Twilight fanfic.
You wrote it. It matters. It's amazing, and it's going to be published one of these days. I swear, guys. I'm going to make it happen. She's going to put it out there, and yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go die now.
It's gonna be great.
No, publish it. No, we love that stuff. We need more of them. Like I literally have. Okay, I'm not going to yank that one out, but like I literally have the Twilight series here because they're awesome. They're awesome for a reason. Publish your book. Okay, I'm not going to shove that back up there.
Okay, so I wrote that 16 years ago. It is so bad. And you just set me up.
Okay, maybe don't write that version.
It will never see the light of day. There is no amount of money or conditioning that will convince Sarah to bare her soul in that way.
No. Negative. Negative ghostwriter. Bring it up to the author that I just binge read over 3 days. Yes, let's tell her.
That's fine. She loves it. But yeah, I think that when we talk about people writing, you get all these different branching ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, Sarah is a really heavy reader, for example, and so a lot of her writing is derived from the things she's read. Me, I am not. I don't read very much. I write a lot, but don't read a whole lot of my own. How do you feel you fall in that category? Are you a pretty heavy reader yourself?
I was before I went so elbow deep into this series. I used to read 3 or 4 books a week. Prolifically. I have a book buying problem at the moment more so than a book reading problem. Oh no, do you need me to? I can get further out of the way. I can spin you around and show you the rest of them.
And I support hoarding tendencies for books. You can't see it, but this whole wall over our head is just books.
Yeah, they're 2 different hobbies.
Stunning.
It's two different hobbies. 2 different. hobbies.
You don't need any other decor.
No,
it is 2 different hobbies. Book buying and book buying is completely separate and both very valid.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. As we tell people who end up buying our stuff, if you never read it in your life, that's fine. Pick it up, love it, do what you need to do with it. I'm great with that.
I don't care either way.
100%. Paperweight, that's fine.
Yeah.
Enjoy it in the way that you want.
Right? Oh, gosh. What else? So, okay, here. Who is the inspiration for Ji-hoon?
I knew you were going to ask me that. No one.
I
can't go a single day without someone asking me that. I get asked this question a lot, which is completely fair. It is completely fair. When you market a book as like a K-pop book, and in fact it is, I guess, a K-pop book, you can't then have a male main character and not have theoretically based him on someone. Right. So I'll give you 2 answers because they're both correct.
Okay.
He is not based on a real life person.
Okay.
He was in May 2024 when I wrote the book, up until about chapter 3, he was based on a real life person. But he also kind of wasn't, because then when I got to chapter 3 and I had that moment where I thought, actually, this might not be a steaming pile of horse crap. This might actually be something that I could get other people to read, right? I reread it and I was like, do you know what, this isn't that person. I kind of had that moment like, I have no idea who these people are. No one knows who these real people are. And it then became easier for me to go, actually, do you know what, this isn't this person. And he became the Ji-hoon that he is today. So yes, the intention for about 3 chapters was for him to be based on a real life person. But he is not a real life person. I think so many people see Ji-hoon, and I think that's more to do with the fact that I've written it in a very specific way, and that's not because I based him on an idol. It's because I based him on the media training that idols get. So it's a really deliberate writing choice to craft him these traits that are really easily identifiable. Like you see them across idols, right? That's why there is this certain there is a similarity, a way that they come across in certain interviews and such. Like they all have very distinct personalities and stuff, but they all have similar ways of interacting, similar ways of answering questions, right? And I've baked a lot of that into Ji-hoon. So he is not based on a real life person. Sorry about it. So he's whoever you want to imagine him as.
He's an insert your own bias here.
Yes, if that's the way that you. No, it's a really valid thing. It's really valid, right? Because like he's not meant to be an insert, just like Kaya isn't meant to be a self-insert.
Misogyny.
But there is no wrong way to enjoy art. No,
Right.
if people want to insert themselves or Felix or whoever,
Right.
that's fine. You enjoy it however you want to enjoy it. He is not meant to be that person, but he is meant to embody certain traits that you see, not just in K-pop idols, but in famous people who have gone through this kind of training.
Well, he's one of a kind too, because like there are traits, yes, like you said, but like he is Jihoon, like he just is.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it.
Yeah, and I thought you stuck onto something really interesting there. We always have an idea of where characters are going to go, like what a character is going to look like. We base them on something that we've experienced in the past. And to allow a character to grow into something that they weren't initially, I think is a really good way to make someone feel lived in.
Yeah.
You know, they had their own experiences and things that changed them. You said around chapter 7 that it changed. Was there some reason that it began to shift away, or did his character just kind of take off away from you?
Yeah, no, it was that exactly. I think a lot of authors have experienced this where your characters kind of go off script. He started doing that for me, and it was around the same time that I was kind of trying to think who this particular idol was, and I had this realization, was I have no idea who this person actually is. I know who he is on screen, but I don't know actually who he is. And that's when I started looking at Jihoon and the ways that he was acting that were completely unlike the persona that I thought this particular person had. And from then, that's the moment where he evolved as who he is. And it wasn't that I wanted him to go in certain directions or have certain conversations certain ways. It's that he basically did it himself. And it's so weird, I think, when you try and have this conversation with someone who hasn't written a character or hasn't created a character, because it sounds really hokey, right? Oh, he does whatever he wants. No, he does what you say. No, they actually do whatever the hell they want. Like, they go completely off-piste. I personally think that's a wonderful thing to do, or have the ability to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that that is a really, really common experience amongst writers. You set out and you say, okay, well, this character is A, B, and C, and then as they go through their experiences, you obviously don't go through the same stuff they go through. All characters are not yourself. You know, you can write some religious fanatic that is obsessed with, you know, and it's like, that has nothing to do with me. That person is a totally different character, and they reach out and grow on their own, and I think that's beautiful, honestly. That's fantastic.
So talking about character growth and stuff, are you a plotter or are you a pantser?
That is a really interesting question, actually, because when I wrote A World Apart, I was 100% a pantser. Absolutely. I would have said I would have been a pantser until the day I die. But then when I started taking it a bit more seriously, in the sense that I gave myself the deadline of the pre-order on KDP, which if you've done a pre-order on KDP, that's not something you muck about with, right? So it's like literally to my head sort of moment. No. So that's when I started throwing money at the problem, I guess you could say, where I bought Scrivener and I bought tools and stuff like that. And Scrivener, I don't know if you've used Scrivener, but it's got this great like feature where you can like storyboard and stuff. And I was like, I'm not going to do any of that. No one does that. People are far more organized. No, I storyboard now. I write all the chapters, all of the synopses, all of my chapters are already done. I am now somehow a plotter. No idea. It happened, but here we are.
I don't think it's really, really hard, as someone who has written a multi-book series, a trilogy, it's really hard to go from the first book where you have kind of pantsered your way through, and then you're like, oh, I have this lore established, I have this established, I have these dates in place that have to be followed, because people are going to cling to that continuity really bad. So you can't just keep making stuff up as you go. Right. For example, I told Sarah last week, I said, I didn't plan enough, and so two of my characters end up with the same last name when I get into the second book.
So they're cousins.
So now they're cousins. And I'm like, okay, well, you end up with this weird stuff because you don't plan.
Right.
But I'm not a person who plans by nature for stuff.
Right.
So I can definitely relate to the pantser to a little bit of planner as I've gone.
Well, and for me, I'm sitting in book 3 and had to go back through and change some like 30,000 words because I lost the plot. I just lost the plot because I just ran off, and I got to looking at it, I was like, this is not how this was supposed to go. Love y'all. Delete. Like, so I'm learning through the trilogies, but I'm also working on my own idol series. You may have influenced me. And finding that I'm planting those seeds early in book one for the next consecutive books. And that has definitely been like a change for my pantster self.
Right. It's incredible. I mean, when we talk about just putting yourself out there and publishing your stuff, have you run into setbacks like that where where you have written a whole bunch of stuff and you go back and go, this is not working. I have to go back through and rework this. Do you ever run into that kind of thing, or has your planning kept that from occurring?
I think because I'm now 3 books deep, the first book, I pretty much did what I want, right? I didn't even expect anyone to buy it. So I'm actually re-editing book 1 this year just because there are certain things that I would do different. So with book 2, like you said about having continuity in the book, right? You kind of have to force yourself to be a bit more on track with it. So in terms of like running into issues, yes, actually the third book, the third book was the first time that I had a team of beta readers, because it was the first time that I felt it was necessary for me to have feedback that was more removed from the story, to have a team that were familiar with the universe, not just the characters. It felt really important for them to be familiar with this world, I guess, that I've created. Because to me, when I read the third book, it was exactly where I wanted it to be. But then I got the feedback from the third book. By and large, it was fine. But there were some things that didn't come across the way that, not just that I wanted it to, but that I needed it to, the setups that I needed to happen, the things that needed to be really clear for book 4. So it was actually quite close to the wire, because there was so much that needed to be rewritten for book 3, sorry. And that's fine. I didn't mind having to do that, but it was like a real slice of humble pie for me to come to that kind of knowledge that it wasn't just this was for me. This was a little bit for me too. This is for everyone who's been with me now since, not necessarily the beginning, but at all. Because this is, I am something now like 20,000 readers in. I can't disrespect that many people by not giving them the story in the way that it was intended. So it wasn't so much of a barrier in so much, it was like a professional barrier. I wasn't prepared to have the level of feedback that I had, because I had gotten into my head like, oh, I'm brilliant, this is my story, I know exactly what I'm doing. The feedback that I got for this was so important, and it was so humbling. And for a minute there, I really didn't think I was going to get it out. I was terrified to publish book 3. Like I really didn't think I was going to publish it for like a hot minute there. Just because I suddenly didn't feel like I was capable of writing the story that people deserved. I mean, I obviously got past it, and here we are, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, I would not have been able to do that with the beta readers and the street team that I have.
Right.
Difference to my life for my writing.
Yeah, and I think having that support system, that group of people that are there, that can tell you, hey, this isn't working, this doesn't sound good, or hey, you need to put this thing out there.
Oh, for sure.
It is extremely important. I think that's a focus of this podcast that we've talked about so many times, is trying to get larger creators, smaller creators, people who don't have much of a following, much of a support system, give them somewhere they can go and talk to people, and understand that this is a learning experience.
Oh, forever.
If you're willing to grow and learn and change, you're gonna be able to do this.
You're gonna be able to do it. Yeah, for sure. I often hear people say that the second book slump is where they kind of get to trudging through like the middle of writing the second book, and that's where they kind of are like, do I really want to do this? For me, it's been book 3. Book 2 happened really quick for me with Isolation of Winter, but book 3, so when you started talking about like kind of feeling that doubt, like felt, because book 3, like I said, I got back into it and was like, oh, I gotta butcher a bunch of this, like this is not good, like But it's crazy how we all kind of have those books where we sit around and we're like, am I bringing this justice? Like, am I giving my readers what they
Mm.
are looking for, and trying to kill that self-doubt and not kill the book itself. Right. Like, so it's cool to hear that it's cool when you hear everyone goes through that at some point with one of their books.
Right.
I think it just makes sense though, right? Because if you go through your writing journey constantly just thinking like either this is great or this is good enough, I feel like where's the growth in that? You know, like the feedback was really sucky. It was hard, but like I feel like it's made not just me a better writer. I think the book is better. And I think if you don't have that, yeah, and how can you grow as the thing that you, I think with writers, like this is a choice, right? This is a passion. Sometimes it's a passion hobby, sometimes it's a passion career. And we are so lucky to be able to do what we do.
Yeah.
And if part of doing what we do isn't wanting to get better at it, even through the hard stuff, right? Why bother? You might as well just go and ask Claude or Chat GPT to churn you out a couple. I'm going to get heated about that, but you know what I mean. Like, you've got to want to get better.
No, I completely agree. And just on that subject, it ends up being that a lot of people see writing as a job.
Yeah.
It is something that if I write a book and get enough books pumped out, I can make millions of dollars, and then I'm never gonna have to work a day again in my life. That's not the soul of writing in general.
Well, it's art.
Me. Yeah, I think you should treat writing as an art, and I think that a lot of times a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
They don't treat it as an art, and they don't want to get better at it. They want to just put out what they have and be fine with that, or they think it's a quick buck, and it is definitely not.
Definitely not a quick buck.
But we completely agree. Like on the AI front, there's so many people that are using stuff to dump things out and put just slop out there when we are trying our hardest to make things that are worth something in this world.
I lock myself in this cave for 6 hours a day, pumping out 5,000 words for a Ream story, and here's somebody with 211 books published in 1 year.
Yeah, right. That's too much. There's no way.
Someone did just ask, are you considering audiobooks for the Between Worlds series?
Yeah, they are currently, two of them. The first two books are currently available on Audible. So they've already been recorded. The third book has already been recorded as well. It is, all of them are being published by Podium Entertainment. So the English language digital rights were bought by Podium last September, I think. So the third one is currently in pre-production and will be out July or August, but probably close to July, I believe. So yeah, I've already considered Audible.
That's absolutely incredible, because that seems to be the only way I can consume stories when I'm mowing or doing dishes or somewhere in between, because between writing and work, I never have time to sit down and read a full thing. So getting things out in multi-formats is always good.
It's so hard though, right? Like I used to read all the time when I had the free time, right? Now all my free time is doing, this. So I listen to audiobooks, so I still maybe get through 3 or 4 books a month, whereas I used to get through 3 or 4 books a week. But the majority of the time it is through Audible, or audiobooks, I should say. It's such an important thing, because you can't just, not everyone has the facility to just sit down and open a book, right? If you can do it like on your commute or looking after the kids, it's just, yeah, getting it available in audiobook is just, for me, it was such a priority, because so many people simply don't have the time luxury to sit down and read a book. And I think it's such a real thing in this age that we live in at the moment. It's wild.
Your wife's comment. His wife just commented, what I'm hearing is, if I get it on Audible, you'll listen to it.
We shall see. My list of things to get through.
Oh my goodness. No, by the end of this, Daniel's going
Let me know what you think.
Daniel's going to be a K-pop stan.
Yes, for sure. Definitely going to sell me. Emily has been trying for months now, so we'll get there eventually. Don't worry.
We'll both bully you. It's fine. It's fine. So, I guess the main question we like to ask here on the podcast, and I'm sorry I did not email you about this so you could think about it, because I totally should have done that.
Chaos is
Welcome to the chaos. What is one piece of advice that you would give, like an up-and-coming writer or someone who's just getting started? What's like your favorite piece of advice you maybe have ever gotten?
Yeah, refine my answer. Yes, just get it done. Fine, but just write the thing is terrible advice, right? Best advice that I have not necessarily been is your first draft, your final draft. It just needs to be a draft. The story cannot be improved upon unless it exists. You need something to build on. And I think having a first draft is so important because not only does it prove that you can do it, you can go the distance, because that's huge, right? Because we're talking, what, 70 to 120,000 words. That was 120. That's about 150 something. This one, I can't remember, honestly, off the top of my head. My editor probably knows because I made her redo it like a bunch of times. My new book is probably going to be massive, but like it has to exist before you can make it better. And I think that would probably be the most useful thing. It certainly was for me. Just make it exist, and then you can do all the other crap to it. That's my advice.
That was one of the first things Daniel ever told me about my first book was like, get it in a first draft, and then you can do whatever you want to it. Like you can go back and add, you can take things away, like, but you can't edit a blank page.
Yeah, it can be hot garbage.
Exactly.
Around.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, when we've talked to several people who are like, well, I put this out and then I was way too nervous to ever send it to an editor, so it's never seen the light of day. Asking someone to tear your first draft apart, your second draft apart, and go back to that's terrifying. It absolutely is, but it's so worth the time to do and to go through and improve and make things better, and then to never go back and read it again because you're going to want to keep changing things. So.
Do you run into that where you've gone back through book one and been like, ooh, I could change this even though it's published?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm actually getting it re-edited this year for reasons. I was fine with that, actually. I was at peace with it. Do you know, I was at peace with it until I listened to the audiobook. and then I was less at peace with it. And I've had to get at peace with it again. I think it's just, in some parts it's painful. It's more about like the writing craft more so the story. The story's fine. I love the story. The story's great. The story's fantastic. but the craft of the writing, I think it's difficult as well, because I've done that awful hubris thing of daring to publish my first ever completed novel, right? This is the thing you're not supposed to do, right? So I think the difference, to me anyway, is really obvious. Like going from the first book through to the third book, which is actually my favorite book, I think that the difference is yeah, I think you've got to have a really strong stomach to listen to your own stuff on audio.
Oh God, I had to listen back to my first book on audio because I'm writing some offshoot thing. I'm like, okay, I need to get my continuity in line, make sure I know where I'm at. And every time I hear a line, then I'm like, I could go back and fix that. My brain goes, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to do a whole lot of work if you start doing that. Don't do that.
Or you start listening.
That's just a rabbit hole you don't need to go down.
I know. I'm just
you start listening to it and you're like, why do people like?
What 12-year-old wrote this?
Why do people like
this? People are very generous.
I know. No one's like, this is hot garbage. You're wrong, but it is.
They'll walk up to your table for the second book and be like, I absolutely loved it. And you're looking at them like,
oh yeah, my brain's going,
are you sure?
Did you read it? Are you certain of that? Because I don't believe you.
Oh, so speaking about in-person events, do you do book signings and things? Like, I know you're in the UK, so it's not like we're gonna hop on a plane and come see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's check gas prices real quick.
But do you do in-person events?
I do. I actually did my first big one a couple of months ago in Manchester at an event called Fiction Fest. And it was this huge event, kind of like a book con, I guess. And I'm doing another, is it this year? God, I'm gonna have to check. I think I'm doing 1 or 2 more big ones this year, and then I've got 4 for next year. One of them is Europe's biggest romance book event, which I'm incredibly excited about. I would do more, frankly. I would cheerfully do more, but I actually don't live in the UK. I live just outside the UK. So I live non-mainland UK. So for me, I've got to hop on a plane and hire a car or get the ferry, or there's logistics involved, and it's frankly a pain in the backside. So yes, I do. I would do more if it wasn't quite so logistically annoying to do.
Yeah, so your main focus on getting books out to people is all online outreach and stuff then? Mostly.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I actually also can't do direct sales either, because of where I am. I'm not going to go into like details because it's boring, but it's basically like there's not just postal involved, there's also tax. So it's just I can't honestly just no. So yeah, I can't even do direct sales. So I've got to go through Jeff Bezos basically, which is very galling for me. So yeah, my entire presence is online. This is why I'm so chronically online.
Yeah. See, and it's the exact opposite for Sarah and I. I mean, we try to get stuff out online, try to do a lot of that, but a lot of our stuff is in person. This summer alone, I have 4 events coming up that I have books for. And
I took this year off.
So, but in the past it has been mostly in person.
Booked, yeah.
And we've noticed that selling obviously in person is much easier than breaking through the noise online. So for you to be able to do that is incredible to the both of us.
Big deal. Big deal.
I mean, you do so many events. I'd love to do all those kinds of events, but do you not get like really fatigued, like exhausting? Like you must be so good at your elevator pitch, though. No, I don't have to.
You should elevator pitch her right now.
Not.
You should elevator pitch her right now.
No, it's a lot easier in person when you can go, hey, do you like to read? And then they either look at you awkwardly and go, no, I don't know how. Or they end up being like, sorta, kinda. Well, I got a sorta, kinda book for you. Come over here.
And the people that say they don't read, he just goes, I wrote a really bad Frisbee.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, no, I don't like to read. Oh, me either. And they laugh and they walk on. I mean, it's so much easier than putting out an ad on Facebook or TikTok or, something like that. Just crack the code there.
We effectively make ourselves the people that stand in the center of the shopping center.
You gotta be the bad.
And just like, hey, how you doing? When they lock eyes with you, like that.
Even when they don't lock eyes with you.
Hey, do you like to read? And they're like,
room, hi. So bad. It works.
Holy hell.
His elevator pitch is great, though, Kate. Don't let him pretend. Like, I've sat through so many pitches.
It works. I won't say it's good, but it works. And so that's all that matters, right? I mean, getting my work out there into people's hands, and I think we do okay. But online it's just different. It's a different animal, and I can understand not being able to travel everywhere to go and do it.
Well, I mean, hell, we live in the middle of the country. There's a lot of things we can't make it to.
Right. Yeah.
Like, literally.
All the time.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. He gets a book in their hands and then he flips the pin. That's the trick, Kate. So you got to put your book in their hand and then flip a pin.
Flip the pin in your hand, and people are like, "Oh, I've got to buy that." I don't know.
He tricks them into thinking they're
cool. Sorry. No, I don't. I'm too British for that. 2, no, absolutely no. Don't, like that thing, like if you saw your K-pop idol, what would you do? Don't perceive me. No, that's fine. Can I interest you in a book? Here, I'll just, no. Standing in the middle of no, I would rather drown, frankly.
You're going to run into a major issue when this fame of yours online catches up with you at events and people are like lined up out the door to see you.
She's going to be
under the table I went books.
No, that's just cheerfully. Yes, I would absolutely do that. When I did Fiction Fest, there were people queuing at my booth and I was like, it's me, right?
Right.
The big ones are over there. No, and then I had people come like, I came just for you. Like, why? No, I don't know. If Netflix ever comes calling, then they don't need to have me. They can that's fine. I'm flustered just thinking about this.
Right.
Oh
Just give
gosh,
them a
no,
link to the podcast.
no.
They can listen to you talk from there.
They can listen to you talk
Yes,
from the podcast.
yeah, they
it's fine.
can.
You have
This,
full right.
I am
It's one
very
of those things-
overwhelmed just thinking.
It's one of those things. I go to events with him to sit sometimes when his wife can't go, especially this year because I'm not doing active sales for my own books. To have people come up and they're like, "Yeah, I bought your first book and now I need the other two," and he's like, "You willingly came back." Or the people who walk up and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I watch you on TikTok," and Daniel's like, "Her?" and they're like, "Yeah,
Aw.
I see her videos all the time," and I'm like,
What are the 7 likes? Yay!
"Yay!" It's like, I'm so glad you're here. Like, this is great. But it is. Daniel and I say that all the time. We're like, you do realize, like, we're
Yeah, it
just
doesn't
Daniel and Sarah. Like,
feel-
this isn't, like, please don't freak out. Or the people who are like, yes, you have to sign my arm.
I did have a guy
You signed someone's body parts?
asked me to sign his arm once. I'm like, oh, brother, I'm not physically signing your arm. Absolutely not.
There's also a comment on Twitch that says, Sarah, you're also the only extroverted author we know.
Yeah, it ain't me. Not a chance. My introversion, I turn that off though when I go to places. Like I can.
It's because you're a teacher.
Yeah, that helps too. But we've gotten off talking about ourselves here somehow.
We were talking about getting into some events.
Yeah, but it's different, and I think that you deserve all of the attention that you're getting and all the followers that you're getting. You seem like a very, very genuine person, and talking to you has been incredible. So thank you for taking the chance on our little podcast.
Our little podcast, literally. And one of these days, I'm going to bring this book, and you're going to sign it for me.
She's going to fly.
I'm going to fly all the way
Europe.
to you, and you're going to sign it for me. Like, it's speaking that into existence. Right now.
From underneath my table.
Yeah,
from underneath the table.
Absolutely.
I will cheerfully sign a book for you underneath the table. That's just slip it under the table. I'll sort that out for you. Because no, you cannot then come to you can't do the thing where you say, I came all the way to England to see you. Why? No, that's fine. Just put it in the post. There you go.
Because you're my friend.
If Sarah ends up in England, you are welcome to call the police on her. She deserves every bit.
Please don't call the police on me.
Hey, so my stalker
I
friend
will not
from
call
TikTok.
the police.
the stalker friend who emailed her randomly was like, hey, I really want you on our podcast.
Yeah.
I am not a bot.
Well, Kate, we have been
I loved that though. That was cute.
The fact that you even thought, her saying, we're not a bot, she's like, yeah, this definitely seems like a human being. I have to be honest with you. You gotta get a better vetting process.
I didn't ask about good
No,
retail.
do you know what? I am so good at recognizing those bots. And do you know what? The reason I knew that she wasn't a bot, one, very importantly, she at no point asked me to contribute to her book club. And two, there wasn't that line at the bottom saying, just click here and unsubscribe. So like, that was it for me. That's how I knew. That's how I knew. It wasn't a book club.
I told Daniel, I said, I'm sending this email. She's either not going to see it or she's going to say no, and I'm going to be okay either way, but I miss 100% of the shots I don't take. And then I got the email back, and I called him, and I said, you need to get away from your wife right now because I'm about to tell you something. It was like, Kate emailed us back. He's like, what? It was like, she emailed us back. She's going to be on the podcast.
The dance she did alone when she came over to my house to help me clean up a pool, and she's like, she got back to us. I'm like, okay, let's tamper it a little bit. Let's chill.
I was so stoked.
Yeah.
So stoked to get to talk to you. And it's been so fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Worth it.
Okay, excellent. I now won't be able to get my massive head through the door, so thank you for that.
It's fine. You deserve all of the praise and all that stuff because you are writing great stuff. So we are gonna tie it up, not keep you on here too awfully long. We're hitting that 1 hour mark. Why don't you plug away anything you have to plug, the stuff you're writing, where that people can find it, all that stuff, and we'll put links in description.
Yep.
You want me to give you an elevator pitch? Did we not just talk about this? Okay, hang on.
We're all gonna elevator pitch. It's fine.
You know what? There you go. That's the elevator pitch.
There you go.
This dude is Hoon. He is absolutely gorgeous. He is a K-pop idol. And this is Kaya. She is an absolute tit for brains, but she's fantastic. She just doesn't have a clue what she's doing in her life, just like none of us did at that age. And basically, she falls on her face in front of him, and he's like, "That's the one."
Mm-hmm.
That's the elevator pitch. No, that's it. Yeah. The other book that I'm writing, the one that's probably going to come out next, is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, but it's a magical realism version of it. So it's Beauty and the Beast as if it was an actual thing in a real life setting. So it's not Disney. There's no singing candlesticks, although, you know, shame, but copyright. It's like I'm researching ancient France, for instance. So it's like magical realism, Beauty and the Beast. It's going to be awesome. It's probably going to be out next spring. I just haven't figured that one out just yet because obviously I'm really concentrating on this one. And
Where can they find you?
Everywhere. I'm chronically online. TikTok, Instagram, Patreon. I say tentatively Facebook, but I don't really go on Facebook. So yeah, those are the big ones: TikTok, Instagram, and Patreon.
Brilliant, absolutely. And all your books are available through Amazon, right?
Yeah. Sadly, Jeff Bezos is my dealer, I'm afraid. For now.
That's us too.
That's us too. I'm SF Rogers.
Well,
You can find my fantasy series, The Lilac Cursebreaker, on Amazon and KU. You can also find Hexes and Hoes, my paranormal rom-com on Ream Stories. It's 130,000 words you get to read for absolutely free. Biker and the Book Dragon releases in July 4th, hopefully. Fingers crossed that I woman up and just do the edits. Yeah.
Okay, so it's my turn. I am D.L. Golden. I'm a lit RPG author. I've written 3 books in the Dreamcatcher series. Origins is out on Amazon right now, as well as the first 11 chapters being out on Royal Road if you want to read it completely for free. Odyssea, the sequel, a sapphic retelling of the Odyssey, is out as well. And I also have the 3rd book, Inferno, which ties off the entire trilogy. If you want to check those out, they are all available on Amazon, and I'm kind of everywhere as well.
Everywhere.
TikTok and all that good stuff. Yep. Kate, thank you so much for coming in on and talking with us. You have been absolutely incredible.
It was honestly my pleasure. Thank you so much for asking me.
You're probably going to be an auto ask for
if we can get you in the future, absolutely, we will talk to you if you don't get so big that you rocket out of the atmosphere and away from our little sphere.
Even if I did, I would cheerfully make time for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Guys, people who have come in, all the taps, all the follows, you guys are incredible. Thank you so much. We will be back again next week with...
No, we won't. We'll be at Tremendicon.
I have an event. So we will be back the following week with somebody else. So we will get it tied off and get all that stuff shouted out. I'm so bad at this. I'm so sorry.
I think it's Kate.
So we are going to end it there. Thank you, everyone.
This has been the Author's Chaos.
We appreciate you.